Hey guys, it's Matthew here once again, and today's video is an update about the Frostblades CI Pathfinder Claw character that I've been playing. It's at this moment level 91 or 2, I think level 91, and taken on pretty much everything I could possibly take on, and I just want to give you a bit more gameplay action and a bit more thoughts about how it's been for clearing and for single target and all of that. So this here I'm showing you is a Pawjaws, and Pawjaws notoriously should be a little bit tough, but for the most part, Frostblades takes care of shit like this extremely easily. And that is because the freeze is so extremely potent throughout regular mapping that nothing really can ever hit you. And in the end, it just makes for a very nice mapping playstyle. So Pawjaws I killed very quickly, very easily, and I could farm those things all day long pretty reliably, just like all these high tier maps. Pretty much from tier 10 through to tier 15 I've been doing for the past couple days, and I'm not sure I've really died more than once, maybe not even once, to any of this sort of shit. Breaches, the maps, all that, it's really easy and it's really good. Now the problem comes into place when you get things with more life than the current tier 15 bosses, and that are chill and freeze immune. So that's the tier 16 bosses and Shaper. So all these other bosses, Frostblades is pretty damn amazing at. You can chill them, you can freeze most of them, and the damage is really quite good against them too, as you can see in most of these little clips. And the build up until tier 15 has been extremely fun to play, and probably my favorite build so far for Legacy, and maybe even the end of Breach too. It's been incredibly fun, and Frostblades has been quite eye-opening as to how fun it can be at the moment, but my fun is of course stifled as soon as I get to tier 16s, and at that point my single target just wasn't good enough. But these are a few more examples of the clear here, and it's extremely satisfying shattering everything, freezing everything, having all these little chains, and the attack speed. With just the survivability of being a Pathfinder with these flasks, it was quite an enjoyable experience getting through the maps. And like I said, freezing bosses like this is just so satisfying. Now on top of that, I did take on a Hall of Grandmasters and did it with 1 or 2 deaths. As soon as I got a block reduction gem, it was actually pretty damn easy, because it was only the block really heavy block sort of characters that stood in my way. Everything else, since we have so much penetration and we're a flask finder, just rolled over, and you could do the entire map pretty reliably, I'd say, in my current sort of status. Like I said though, this is where the problem begins. You get to the tier 16s, they're chill immune, they're freeze immune, and they have like 100 million more life than every other boss you faced up until here. And my gear at this stage is pretty damn good, it's not getting much better. The only thing you could really do is force an Abyssus into your build, or get a much more expensive weapon, which is doable, but not for the most part, for most of us anyway. Wearing a 300 DPS claw, a 380 for example would cost maybe 5 to 10x, and that's doable, but I'm not sure it would fix all of our problems for tier 16s. I think it's just not a great tier 16 or a Shaper build unless you get an Abyssus into it, because Abyssus really does change the game, but then it becomes really expensive to get the rest of your gear up to standard to be able to wear that Abyssus. So I did end up clearing all the tier 16s. The DPS was just kind of shit for it. Chimera was probably the best one for it. You drop your trap, you get all your flasks up, and he does die pretty quickly, and so do the ads. So realistically, Chimera's probably a fairly reliable boss for me. But then Phoenix was fairly slow. This is a Hydra with reduced crit damage on it, and that was fairly slow. It took me like 3 or 4 minutes, maybe even 5, I don't know. It was a long, painful fight. Granted, without the crit reduction mod and without the added life that the Hydra had, because she also had that, it would have been a bit quicker, but it's still not impressive. It's not amazing. It's really not gonna, change any lives. Minotaur was probably my easiest kill. You can more or less face tank the whole thing, drop a few traps, reset flasks if you need to. That's pretty straightforward and pretty easy. So all the Guardians are well doable, but it's just not terribly enjoyable experience, at least nowhere near the same as everything you faced up until then. Then we had Shaper, and the DPS just wasn't there for Shaper in my current status. It required some seriously good play to be able to get all the way through him. I didn't. I ended up dying on phase 3, and I won't take you through the whole thing. I ended up dying a lot on phase 2, messed up a lot, didn't have enough portals for phase 3, and I died with him at about 30%. Now, granted, if I had a few more shots, I think I could get it down, but where's the point? It's a pretty bad build for Shaper, in my opinion, especially without a huge weapon and without an Abyssus. It just didn't make sense to do Shaper with this build. Uber Atziri, this is my first go. That was actually pretty smooth. So the Vials went down really quite easily, uneventfully. The Trash, super easy, because that's what this build is made for. As you can see, the chains, the freezes, it's fairly safe, it's got good damage, and the clear is really quite comfortable and quite enjoyable. So the Trash, not a problem at all. The Vials, not a problem at all. We had a few problems when getting to Trio, and that is mostly because of Multi-Strike. Multi-Strike didn't know what it wanted to attack, so as you can see, it's hitting kind of fucking everything right now, and it was really annoying. If I was to go in again with a fresh run, I'd take out Multi-Strike and put in Melee Fizz, which is my setup for the Atziri herself. So I ended up dying quite a bit because I was killing the wrong target and couldn't get the right kill on the right target, and in the end, it was just me versus Chaska, or whatever her name is, the Rainmaker, and yeah, it took a few portals to get down. I think it is doable though without the multi-strike, and it should be more reliable. Moving on to Atziri, it's a pretty straightforward fight. We have some really good shield charge speed, so I've been juking everything fairly reliably. The split phase isn't too bad when you've got everything properly set up, but it also takes a bit of finesse if you mess it up, which I did a few times. All in all, it was a deathless run for Atziri herself, but yeah, quite a few deaths to the trio. And I think it's reliable enough for me to be able to farm Uber Atziri, but still not great. For everything up until tier 15, this build is amazing, and I did enjoy it a lot. Tier 16, Shaper, and Uber Atziri, probably not the greatest. I might release another video tomorrow detailing everything about the build and also a comparison with Varanastra, but for now, that's all I'll show you guys, just some comparisons, just some single target. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.